Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is J. Lumar Alano and I'm from Group 7, which will discuss the personality disorders, and for this video I will discuss to you the overview of personality disorders. So let us start first with the question, what are personality disorders? Personality disorders are a mental health issues where people that have it has a very strong and long-lasting patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And these patterns are quite different from what most people would expect. And it usually starts during teenage years and early adulthood. Personality disorders affects a person's entire life, like how they relate to others, how they manage their emotions, and even how they handle their daily activities. And a person with personality disorders might have problems at work, in school, or even in relationships because they find it hard to adapt in different situations. Kasi their way of acting and thinking is often rigid, which means na they are having difficulties in changing their behavior even when it might be helpful for them. Like, for example, they might react in a very extreme or like OA sa mga bagay na maliliit lang, which can make their life harder. And unlike other mental health issues like depression and anxiety na usually come and go, personality disorders usually last for a very long time. So it makes it challenging for a person that has it to have a balanced and happy life. Ang personality disorders are divided into three types of group. It is called clusters. We have the cluster A, cluster B, and we also have cluster C. So, in each of these clusters has disorders that share similar patterns of thinking and behaving. So first we have the cluster A, or which is known as the odd or eccentric cluster. In cluster A, people with these disorders tend to act in ways na others might find it very strange or distant. And people in these clusters that has these disorders, they often avoid the relationships because they find it very uncomfortable or unnecessary. In this group, it includes disorders such as the paranoid personality disorder, or yung pagiging masyadong overly suspicious sa iba, and it also includes schizoid personality disorder, or yung preparing to be alone and hindi masyado nagpapakita ng emotion, and it also includes the schizotypal personality disorder, which is yung pagkakaroon ng unusual thoughts or behavior, and sometimes like believing in magic like ideas. Next is we have the cluster B, which is also called the dramatic, emotional, or erratic cluster. People in these clusters, they often have very intense feelings. They have a very unstable relationships, and they can be very impulsive. And people in these clusters may need a lot of attentions or feel na yung kanilang emotions are out of control na. So for cluster B, we have disorders such as meron tayong antisocial personality disorder, or yung pagdi-disregard ng rights ng iba, uh, madalas na pagsisinungaling, and yung even pag-violate ng rules. Meron din tayong borderline personality disorder, or yung pagkakaroon ng unstable moods and fear of being abandoned. And meron din tayong histrionic personality disorder, or yung pagiging overly emotional and needing to be the center of attention. And lastly, for cluster B is meron tayong narcissistic personality disorder, or yung pagkakaroon ng exaggerated sense of importance sa sarili and needing of admiration. And for the last cluster, we have the cluster C, or also called the anxious or fearful clusters. So people in this cluster are usually very afraid of being judged or failing. So they tend to worry a lot about making mistakes or not being good enough. And for this cluster, it includes disorders such as the avoidant personality disorder or yung pagiging masyadong overly extremely shy, or they are afraid of being alone. And we also have the dependent personality disorder where they need constant support from others and they fear being alone. And also lastly for the cluster C is we have the obsessive compulsive personality disorder or the OCPD, which is different from OCD kasi it involves a need for perfection, control, and strict order. So, although it's just a summarized details about the clusters of personality disorders, you can learn about it more naman detailedly in the next videos that will be discussed by my other group mates. So, rest assured na you will know about more details about these personality disorders. So after learning about the divided clusters of personality disorders, let's move on naman sa causes and risk factors of personality disorders. So there are many ways how someone can develop a personality disorders, but it usually comes from the genetics and environmental factors. So genetics are part of it kasi if someone in your family, like if your parent or yung mga kapatid mo has a personality disorder or even another mental health condition, it might increase the your chances of having one too. Pero it doesn't mean na it's guaranteed, but it only means na you are more vulnerable to having or developing similar problems. Aside from genetic factors, we also have the environmental factors which also plays a big role kasi if you have grown up in an environment where you have faced abuse, neglected, or where there's a lot of stress, it can greatly affect how you understand and deal with problems and relationships. Like if a child grows up not feeling safe or not loved enough, it can make it harder for them to form relationships. Like for example, if a person experience a lot of rejections when he or she was a child, he might develop an avoidant personality disorder because they become very afraid of being rejected again. So that's one of a factor from developing personality disorders. And another one is the brain function. Brain function is another factor kasi some studies have shown that personality disorders are linked to how the brain works, especially yung mga areas that controls the emotional and decision making. For example, yung mga tao na merong borderline personality disorder, they have they might have overactive emotions which makes them feel things more intensely. Meanwhile, yung mga tao na merong antisocial personality disorders might struggle to understand other people's feelings. So, ibig sabihin, yung differences in how the brain is wired can contribute to how a person can, how a person, how a how a personality disorder can develop. So, medyo gabi na, no? Medyo dumilim na yung aking background. So, for the last, let's talk about the prevalence and the impact of personality disorders. Personality disorder are more common than what most people think kasi it affects 9 to 10% people worldwide. So, this means na 9 out of 10 people may have some form of personality disorders. Some personality disorder are more common in certain genders. Like for example, ang antisocial personality disorder are maybe you will find it usually in mostly in men, while yung borderline personality disorder naman is usually you will find it in sa mga babae. And maybe the reason this could be partly because of how genders are taught how to handle their emotions, and how they are treated by the society. And this personality disorder can make life very challenging for those that who have them, these personality disorders. Kasi it can affect how a person can get a job or keep a job, or even in maintaining healthy relationships. Like for example, ang tao na merong borderline personality disorder might find it hard to stay in a long-term relationship kasi because of fear of abandonment and intense emotional reactions. And many people with personality disorder also feels misunderstood, which is nakakadagdag pa sa kanilang stress. And the problems they face are often long term kasi personality traits are hard to change. Pero with the right treatment, things can get better. Like we have the psychotherapy also, or also the talk therapy. Pero with the right treatment, things can get better. We have the psychotherapy also called the talk therapy, which can help in teaching you ways how to think, how to act, and also how to feel. And medication can also help, especially if the person is also has depression or anxiety as well. But most importantly is early intervention. Kasi if a person get help soon after symptoms starts, they have a chance of improving their quality of life. So, ang pinaka-goal talaga ng treatment is not just to reduce the symptoms, but also help people build a better relationships and lead a more fulfilling life. So that is all for the overview of personality disorders. Let's now move naman sa more detailed explanations of the clustered uh, personality disorders that will be discussed to you by my groupmates.
So now let's proceed to the first cluster of the personality disorder. Before I start, please allow to introduce myself. I am Sheena Gail Bernal, and I will be discussing the cluster A, which is the paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and schizotypal personality disorder. So ang cluster A ay ang mga taong may kakaibang ugali at gawain ay ay kadalasang pinagsama-sama dahil sa magkakaparehong symptoms na kanilang ipinapakita. Meron silang mga pagkakatulad sa genes o namamana nila ito at mga experience na nakuha mula sa kanilang surroundings. Kaya kahit iba-iba sila, may mga bagay na pareho ang pinagmulan ng kanilang mga ugali. Ganito inaaral at nilalagay sa isang category which is ito nga ang cluster A. Iba-iba sila ng tawag, yung pangalan ng sakit nila, pero may magkaka-same sila ng symptoms. So ang unang disorder sa cluster A. Ang unang disorder sa cluster A ay ang paranoid personality disorder. 'Di ba kapag marinig natin ang word na paranoid, alam na agad natin kasi sinasabi natin ito kadalasan sa mga kausap natin na napaparanoid sila sa mga bagay na nasa paligid nila. Kaya nilalike di sila mapakali. So, dito sa definition ko sa PPT, ang paranoid disorder, daw ay kapag ang isang tao ay laging nagdududa at iniisip na may mga tao na gustong manakit o lokohin siya kahit walang clear na dahilan, feeling niya palagi siyang tinatarget ng iba. So, based sa DSM-5-TR, ang history ng disorder na ito ay unang nakilala noong early 20th century bilang kondisyon kung saan ang isang tao ay sobrang nagdududa at hindi nagtitiwala sa iba kahit walang totoong dahilan. Palaging iniisip ng taong ito na may masamang balak ang ibang tao laban sa kanya. Merong mga case, merong mga cause ang paranoid. Ang paranoid disorder kabilang dito ay ang genetics, childhood experiences, trauma, and brain structure. Ang una ay ang genetics. Kung may kamag-anak ka na may personality disorder o mental health issues, mas mataas ang chance na magkaroon ka rin ng ganitong condition. Second is childhood experiences. Kung lumaki ka sa isang kapaligiran na may pang-aabuso, kapabayaan o sobrang kritisismo, maaari itong magdulot ng pagdududa o takot sa ibang tao. Ang pangatlo ay trauma. Ang mga malalim na experience ng trauma, lalo na noong bata pa, ay maaaring cause ng pag-iisip na laging may gustong manakit o manloko sa'yo. The fourth is brain structure. May mga pag-aaral na nagsasabi na ang ilang bahagi ng brain na may kinalaman sa emotion at ugali ay maaaring hindi normal sa pagkabuo. Kaya nagkakaroon ng ganitong problema. So yun, paano ba ito malulutas o ano ba ang mga treatment para dito sa condition na ito? So, kailangan natin ng therapy, medications, and also long-term support. So, first is the therapy. Karaniwang ginagamit ang CBT or ang cognitive behavioral therapy para matulungan ang taong kontrolin ang kanilang mga pagdududa at pagbutihin ang pakikitungo nila sa iba. Second is ang medications. Walang particular na gamot para sa paranoid personality disorder, pero minsan nagbibigay ang mga doktor ng antidepressants o antipsychotics para matulungan ang mga sintomas gaya ng anxiety o paranoia. Lastly is long-term support. Importante ang matagal at maaasahang relasyon sa mga healthcare providers para patuloy na matulungan ang taong may ganitong condition sa paglipas ng panahon. Para malaman ang symptoms or warning signs ng ganitong disorder is palaging iniisip na may gustong manakit o manloko sa kanila kahit walang evidence. Then, nagkikimkim ng sama ng loob at hindi nagpapatawad sa mga inaakalang pagkakamali ng iba. Then, naniniwala na may secret motives ang mga tao o gusto silang traidorin. At ang isa pa ay iniiwasan ang malalapit na relasyon, yung mga relationship dahil takot silang masaktan o i-manipulate. Then, ang last ay ang madalas silang magalit o magtanggol kapag pakiramdam nila ay inaaway o inaaway sila. So, based on my research, wala pang famous people na or person na diagnosed sa disorder na ito. Walang inilabas sa public na may ganitong case, pero mostly sa normal person na nakakaranas ng ganito, pero ang iba is mild lang. Let's proceed to the second disorder sa cluster A, which is the schizoid personality disorder. So, dito naman is ang schizoid personality disorder ay isang condition kung saan ang tao ay iniiwasan ang pakikisalamuha sa ibang tao. So, mas gusto niyang mapag-isa, ganyan, at bihira siyang magpakita ng emotion. Madalas silang parang malamig o walang pakiramdam sa mga nangyayari sa paligid nila. Isa sa changes sa DSM-5-TR mula sa mga naunang version ay ang pagkilala ng may ilang tao sa may schizoid personality disorder na sensitive na opinion ng iba, pero hindi nila kayang ipakita o ipahayag ang kanilang emotion para sa kanila. Para sa kanila, ang pagiging mag-isa ay maaaring napakasakit. So sa kasamaang palad, ang pagiging walang tirahan ay madalas makita sa mga taong may ganitong disorder. At because sa kawalan nila ng malalapit na friends at kawalan ng kawalan ng pagkadismaya sa hindi pagkakaroon ng sexual na relasyon sa iba. So, ang statement na ito is according to ROF 2000, Angstam and Rasmussen 2011. Ang mga kulang sa social skills ng mga tao ay may schizoid personality disorder ay katulad ng mga may paranoid disorder, pero mas matindi lang talaga ito sa paranoid. Pero pareho silang may problema sa pakikisalamuha sa ibang tao, pero ang mga schizoid disorder ay talagang ayaw ng pakikisalamuha at mas pinipili ang mag-isa. Samantalang ang mga paranoid disorder ay may takot at pagdududa, yun nga, yung parang sa paligid nila, sa mga intensyon ng iba sa kanila. So, saan ba nagsimula ang disorder na ito? Ang history niya noong early 20th century bilang isang ugali ng pag-iwas sa mga relasyon at pagpapakita ng konting emotion. Ibig sabihin, ang mga tao na may ganitong condition ay hindi masyadong nakikisalamuha at minsan walang masyadong nafe-feel o nagpapakita ng emotion sa ibang tao. And cause ng disorder na ito ay magka-same lang din sa paranoid, pero sa genes, ganyan din. Ang iba ay childhood experiences, same din sila din environmental factors, cultural influences, and temperament. So, ang environmental factors, ang paglaki, ito yung paglaki ng isang kapaligiran na socially isolated o sobrang critical ay maaaring makaapekto sa pagbuo ng isang personality. And next is the cultural influences. Ang cultural norms na nagdi-discourage sa pagpapahayag ng emotion o pakikisalamuha ay maaaring magkaroon ng epekto. Yun. Ang last ay temperament, ang mga likas na katangian ng personality tulad ng introversion. Introvert o pagkakaroon ng aloofness ay maaaring magdala sa mga tao patungo sa disorder na ito. So, I'll explain the symptoms or warning signs to these disorders. So, before ako mag-proceed sa treatment, ang mga symptoms or warning signs nito ay preferring to be alone. Mas gusto ng taong ito na mas gusto ng tao na ito na mag-isa. At iniiwasan ang pakikisalamuha o pagkakaroon ng mga relationship. Next is emotional detachment. Konti lang ang kanilang ipinapakitang emotion o hindi sila nag-express ng damdamin. Yung hindi masyado natin nakikita sa face nila yung expression na yun. Kahit sa mga sitwasyong inaasahan ang emotion, yung inaasahan natin na may emotion pero hindi sila nagre-response. Next is a limited interest in activities. Wala silang gaanong interest sa mga libangan natin, yung mga kung anong ginagawa natin kapag wala tayong ginagawa, ano yung nililibang natin. So, activities o experience na may kinalaman sa ibang tao. So, next is the indifference to praise of criticism. Hindi sila nagmamalasakit sa opinion ng iba at parang walang effect sa kanila ang mga positive o negative na sinasabi. Last is difficulty forming relationships. Nahihirapan silang magkaroon, nahihirapan silang makipag-connect pala. Nahihirapan sila makipag-connect sa iba at konti ng kanilang malalapit na relationship kung meron man. So, paano ba ito gumaling sa isang disorder na ito? Ano ang treatment? First is psychotherapy. Ang individual na therapy, lalo na ang cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, ay makakatulong sa tao na maunawaan o malaman ang kanilang mga damdamin at bumuo ng mga social skills. Second is group therapy. Understandable naman, 'di ba? Group therapy. Ang group therapy is nagbibigay ng pagkakataon para magsanay ng pakikisalamuha sa isang kapaligiran. The next is medication. So walang tiyak na wala talagang gamot para sa schizoid personality. Kagaya din yung sinabi ko kanina sa paranoid. Pwede silang pwede magreseta ang mga doktor na antidepressants and psychotics, so sinabi ko din kanina, upang makatulong ito sa mga sintomas, sa mga symptoms tulad ng depression or anxiety. Diba same sila sa paranoid. Next is supportive therapy. Ang pagbibigay ng lugar na walang judgment para sa mga tao na ipahayag ang kanilang sarili ay makakabuti. Ayun. So, the last is skill building. So, ang mga programang nakafocus sa pagpapabuti ng communication at social skills ay makahelp sa mga tao na mas effective makipag-ugnayan sa iba. As of now, based din sa research ko, walang famous people ang kilalang na diagnose sa disorder na ito. So, mostly is mga ordinary person pa din na hindi natin kilala. May mga ma-observe ako na ganitong tao, like talagang mas ganitong tao, like gusto talaga nilang mag-isa sila palagi. So, the last disorder na belong sa cluster A ay ang schizotypal personality disorder. So, ano nga ba ito siya? Ito ay isang condition kung saan ang isang tao ay may kakaibang action, hindi pangkaraniwan, mga paniniwala at hirap sa pakikipag-relationship. Madalas silang nakakakita o nakaka-feel ng mga bagay na hindi normal sa ibang tao. Parang naiiba sila sa karaniwang pag-iisip o pakikipagsalamuha. And dahil dito, nahihirapan silang makisama o mag-trust sa iba. So, mahirap sa kanila ang mag-trust. Ang mga taong may schizotypal personality disorder ay may mga kakaibang paniniwala o magical thinking na tinatawag. Tulad ng paniniwalang sila ay may kakayahang makita ang future o makabasa ng isip ng iba. That is according to Farnham and Crom 2014. Bukod pa rito, nakaka-feel sila ng mga hindi pangkaraniwang experience tulad ng pakiramdam na may ibang tao sa paligid kahit mag-isa sila. So, same lang siya sa paranoid, pero sa paranoid is feeling ng mga may disorder na ito is sasaktan sila. Ito naman is feeling nila may ibang tao talaga sa paligid nila. So, saan ba nagsimula ang disorder nito? Ano ang history niya? Kung ang paranoid and schizoid ay early 20th century, itong schizotypal naman ay mid-20th century. Ang condition na ito bilang isang sakit na may kaugnayan sa kilos at pag-iisip na nakakaapekto sa pakikisalamuha sa iba. So, ano ba ang causes nito? Same sa dalawang disorder. Sinabi ko earlier, meron din itong sa genetic ang galing. Ang childhood experiences, the brain structure, environmental influences, and also temperament. Diba? Alam naman din kasi sinabi ko na din kanina, same lang din sila. So, ano ba ang symptoms or warning signs ng eccentric behavior? So, pagpapakita ng kakaiba o hindi karaniwang kilos, ugali, o pananamit, yung pagdamit. Next is social anxiety. Matinding discomfort sa mga social na situation na nagiging cause ng pag-iwas sa pakikipag-relationship. Next is unusual beliefs, paniniwala ng mga pamahiin, magical thinking nga, tulad ng paniniwala sa telepathy o paranormal na pangyayari. Alam naman natin yung paranormal, 'di ba? Next is perceptual discomfort. Perceptual distortions pala, sorry. Nakaka-experience ng bahagyang pagkakaiba sa feelings, tulad ng pakiramdam na may ibang tao kahit mag-isa. Yun nga, sabi ko kanina, next is emotional expression difficulties. Hirap magpakita ng nararamdaman o hirap makipag-ugnayan ng emotional sa iba. Lastly is paranoia. So, pagkakaroon ng mga suspense sa iba. Ayun ba? Suspense o pakiramdam na may ibang taong gumagawa ng masama laban sa kanila. So, paano ba ito gagaling? Ano ang treatment para dito? So, same lang din sa treatment ng schizoid disorder, kailangan ng psychotherapy, medication, supportive therapy, social skills training, and group therapy para paano mabawasan ang ganitong disorder sa isang tao ay hindi ito lumala. And also, based sa research, wala pang famous na tao na diagnose sa ganitong disorder. At kung meron man is mga normal na tao lang din, ayaw ipaalam sa ibang tao. So, kasi mostly nga, may mga ganitong disorder is nahihiya silang sabihin, pero ang iba naman is hindi. So, that's all in my part. So, let's proceed na po sa Cluster B na disorder na i-discuss ni Miss Carol Angela Villa.
Good day everyone! Today I will be presenting Cluster B personality disorders, which include antisocial, borderline, histrionic, and narcissistic personality disorders, which are known for their dramatic, emotional, and erratic behaviors. Let's start with a brief overview. Let's begin with antisocial personality disorder. So, what is ASPD? Ito ay isang mental health condition kung saan ang tao ay hindi sumusunod sa social norms at walang pakialam sa nararamdaman ng iba. Often, may manipulate or harm others without feeling guilty. Isipin niyo yung character ni Joker sa movie. He break law, manipulate people, and feels no remorse for his action. So, the history of ASPD is the term psychopathy or sociopathy was used during the early 19th century to describe people who showed no guilty for hurting others. By 1980, ASPD was officially recognized in the DSM-3. It became a way to better understand individuals who commit crime and show no regret. And the cause of the ASPD can be linked to genetics, early childhood trauma like neglect or abuse, and environmental factors like growing up in a violent household. So the symptoms or warnings to this disorder, some common signs include the lack of empathy, violation of law, deceitful behavior, and being aggressive. Minsan, mga bata pa lang nakikitaan na ng sign tulad ng cruelty towards animal o sa pagsisinungaling. So, the treatment of this will be including cognitive behavioral therapy to help manage behaviors, medications like mood stabilizer to control aggression, and support programs to long-term rehabilitation. So, some famous individual na na-diagnose sa disorder na ito is si Ted Bundy, or kilala natin siya na ex siya ni Ariana Grande, at Charles Manson are often cited for their ASPD traits, especially dahil sa kanilang history of manipulation and violation crimes. And new development sa new research about ASPD was studied now focus on early sign of ASPD in children to help prevent them from developing the full disorder as adults. Next is borderline personality disorder, or BPD. So what is BPD? BPD is characterized by intense emotional instability, impulsive action, and a deep fear of abandonment. Para itong roller coaster ng emotions. 1 minute, masaya ka, and then mag-change ulit ang emotion mo into angry. Ganon, basta moody. Tapos, bigla ka na lang magiging super sad or angry. Ganon. So, the history of BPD was first described in the mid-90s as a conditional na parang nasa border ng neurosis at psychosis. Kaya borderline sa DSM-3 noong 1980s, it became its own personality disorder. Marami ring film or TV show na may characters na nagpo-portray ng BPD, like in Girl, Interrupt, with where the lead character struggle with her emotions and relationship. Causes, it often caused by a mix of genetics, childhood trauma like abuse or neglect, and unstable family environment. So the symptoms of BPD was fear of abandonment, mood swing, impulsive behavior like binge eating or self-harm, and unstable relationship. For example, a person might feel super attached to someone one day, tapos the next day, sobrang distance or galit na siya dito. So the treatment for this disorder was dialectal behavior therapy, is a specific type of therapy that help people with BPD manage their intense emotions. Medications are also used to stabilize mood swing, and group therapy is helpful for building a healthier relationship. So, some individual na famous na na-diagnose dito is comedian Pete Davidson has been open about his diagnosis of BPD and uses humor to cope with his struggle. So, new development research about this disorder was ongoing is exploring the brain role in regulating emotion, which can help develop better treatment for BPD in the future. Now, let's discuss the histrionic personality disorder, or HPD. So, what is HPD? So, HPD is when personality constantly seek attention and approval. Para bang feeling nila kapag hindi sila ang center of attention, hindi sila okay. For example, imagine someone who always make everything dramatic para lang mapansin. Kahit simpleng bagay, they'll turn it into something big and emotional. So, the history of this disorder, the concept of histrionic behavior goes back to ancient times. The term hysteria was originally used to describe exaggerated emotional reactions, especially in women. As psychology advanced, histrionic personality disorder was developed as a specific diagnosis in DSM during the 1980s. So the cause of this disorder was family history and certain experience growing up, like constant need for approval or over-pampering can contribute to HPD. Media and societal influence also play a role. So the symptoms of this was excessive attention seeking, exaggerated emotions, and using their look or behavior to gain approval. For example, someone with HPD might dress provocatively or act overly dramatic to get others to notice them. So the treatment for this disorder is psychotherapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy. It helps individuals understand their need for attention and teaches healthier ways to express emotions. Group therapy then is also beneficial for this. So, some people, individual, nag-research ako. So, though walang official celebrity diagnosed, but some social media personality are often speculated to show HPD trait because of their constant need for public attention. Katulad ng mga influencer, basta any of the social tao, basta mga influencer. So, the new development research for this, so researchers are now looking into how today's media and social media might reinforce attention-seeking behaviors, especially sa mga kabataan. So, lastly, let's talk about the narcissistic personality disorder. So, what is this? It is when a person has a grandiose sense of self-importance, constantly seeking admiration, and lacks empathy for others. They feel like they are better than everyone else and expect to be treated as such. Para bang feeling superior palagi kahit hindi naman. So, isipin nyo yung classic na word, parang yung tao na parang mayabang na character na, sa mga movies. Yung laging kailangan i-praise sa lahat. So, the history of this disorder was termed narcissism. Comes from the word mythology na si Narcissus was a young man who fell in love with his own reflection. He was so captivated by his own image na wala siyang pakialam sa iba, leading to his downfall. In modern psychology, so narcissism became a focus of study in the early 20th century, and NPD was formally added to DSM in 1980. So the cause of this disorder was it's usually caused by a combination of genetic predisposition, childhood environment like excessive praise or neglect, and societal influence. So the symptoms of this was some common symptoms are a sense of entitlement, constant need for admiration, and lack of empathy. They often exploit others to get what they want. People with NPD are often very self-centered and believe they are better than others. So the treatment for this diagnosed disorder was psychotherapy, especially CPT, helps individuals understand their behavior and development empathy for others. So, makakatulong din dito ang family therapy, can also be useful to repair damaged relationship caused by the narcissistic behavior. So, some famous, wala pa naman akong naano, pero while there is no confirmed diagnosis sa mga artista or celebrity, many speculate that certain public figures and celebrity may have NPD traits because of their self-centered and entitled behavior. So, in conclusion, to sum up with the Cluster B personality disorder, antisocial, borderline histrionic, and narcissistic are all marked by erratic, emotional, and dramatic behavior that affect both the person and their relationship. This disorder required professional diagnosis and treatment. So, always remember guys that please remember that only a qualified mental health professional can diagnose these disorders. Don't try to self-diagnose if you or someone you know is struggling. It's important to seek help from a professional helper. So, thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hello everyone, good day.
Now we're going to discuss the cluster C personality disorder, which are avoidant, dependent, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Now let's proceed to avoidant personality disorder. Yung mga taong may avoidant personality disorder ay very sensitive kung ano yung iniisip ng ibang tao about sa kanila. Gusto nilang magkaroon ng social relationship at makipag-interact with other people, pero nakakaramdam sila ng anxiety, kaya mas pinipili nilang i-avoid na lang yung social interactions na gusto nilang gawin. Napakababa ng self-esteem nila at natatakot sila ma-reject kapag gusto nilang makipag-interact with other people. So dahil dito, nahihirapan silang magkaroon ng friends or makabuo ng friendship. Kaya nagre-rely na lang sila sa iilang taong pinagkakatiwalaan nila. Ang avoidant personality disorder has been recognized in various ways simula pa noong early 1900 kahit na hindi pa ito official na tinatawag na avoidant personality disorder. Noong 1911, ang isang Swiss psychiatrist na si Eugene Bleuler ay nagsulat tungkol sa isang patient ng may mga signs ng avoidant personality disorder sa kanyang book na Dementia Precox or the Group of Schizophrenias. Na-observe niya na that other people ay may strong fear or may matinding takot sa pakikipag-interact or social interaction or social situation, which are sign or sintomas ng what we call now avoidant personality disorder. Okay, so number 1 is genetics. Some studies show na ang avoidant personality disorder ay maaaring makuha in family member, which may suggest a connection to other disorders related to schizophrenia. Okay, so number 2 is temperament. People who have certain top personality traits like being very sensitive or shy may be more likely to develop avoidant personality disorder. Ibig sabihin, if someone often feels anxious or in social situation or nahihirapan siyang mag-trust ng ibang tao, they might be at a higher risk for this disorder. The causes of avoidant personality disorder are believed to come from both biological factors like genetics, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, and social experiences. Ibig sabihin nito, family history and their interaction with others can both play a role in whether they develop this disorder. For example, if someone has a family member with APD or avoidant personality disorder or has faced negative social experiences, may malaking chance na magkaroon sila ng avoidant personality disorder. Number 4 is they feel inadequate. This means na that person feels shy or ma-feel nilang hindi sila good enough in new social situation, kaya nahihirapan silang makipag-interact sa ibang tao. Number 5 is they see themselves as enough. Ibig sabihin, iniisip nila na they are socially awkward or hindi sila attractive to others, which makes them feel uncomfortable in social situation. Number 6 is they avoid work with people. Ibig sabihin, iniiwasan nila yung mga trabaho or activities na need nilang makipag-interact sa iba because natatakot sila na ma-criticize or ma-left out sila. Okay, so number 1 is genetics. Some studies show na ang avoidant personality disorder ay maaaring makuha in family member, which may suggest a connection to other disorders related to schizophrenia. Okay, so number 2 is temperament. People who have certain top personality traits like being very sensitive or shy may be more likely to develop avoidant personality disorder. Ibig sabihin, if someone often feels anxious or in social situation or nahihirapan siyang mag-trust ng ibang tao, they might be at a higher risk for this disorder. The causes of avoidant personality disorder are believed to come from both biological factors like genetics, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, and social experiences. Ibig sabihin nito, family history and their interaction with others can both play a role in whether they develop this disorder. For example, if someone has a family member
with APD or avoidant personality disorder or has faced negative social experiences, may malaking chance na magkaroon sila ng avoidant personality disorder. Number 4 is they feel inadequate. This means na that person feels shy or ma-feel nilang hindi sila good enough in new social situation, kaya nahihirapan silang makipag-interact sa ibang tao. Number 5 is they see themselves as enough. Ibig sabihin, iniisip nila na they are socially awkward or hindi sila attractive to others, which makes them feel uncomfortable in social situation. Number 6 is they avoid work with people. Ibig sabihin, iniiwasan nila yung mga trabaho or activities na need nilang makipag-interact sa iba because natatakot sila na ma-criticize or ma-left out sila. So first treatment is talk therapy. Psychotherapy is the main treatment for personality disorders like avoidant personality disorder or AVPD. Makahelp to na maintindihan mo yung nararamdaman mo and yung actions mo. Also, it focuses on emotions. This therapy looks at the emotional reason behind your problems. Also, it encourages self-reflection. Makakahelp to think about the past relationship and kung paano ito nakaka-apekto sa behavior mo. It also improves connection. Tuturuan ka rin ito how to interact with others. Okay, so another treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. So it examines thoughts and feelings. It looks at how your thoughts and feelings affect what you do. It also unlearns negative thoughts. Makahelp to change your negative thought into more positive ones and encourages healthier behaviors. It also builds social skills. Makakahelp to improve your ability to interact and connect with others. So Kim Basinger has talked about her experience with avoidant personality disorder or AVPD. Nasabi niya na nung bata pa siya ay natatakot siya at nakaka-feel siya ng anxiety in social situation kaya nahihirapan siya makipag-interact with others. Okay, so J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has shared that she dealt with anxiety and feelings of not being good enough. Kaya nahihirapan siya magkaroon ng confidence, especially nung nagsisimula pa siya sa kanyang writing career. She has discussed na kung paano ito nakaapekto sa kanyang buhay, but she also talked about how she worked to overcome them. Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, is often seen as socially awkward. Nahihirapan siya in social interaction at uncomfortable siya in group interaction. Even though he struggled with this, naging successful pa rin siya and uses his position to help others. They show na it is possible to do well in life despite having these challenges or having this disorder. Okay, so people with dependent personality disorder rely a lot on others to make decisions, whether big or small. Ibig sabihin, di nila kayang mag-decision for themselves, kaya inaasa na lang nila sa iba. Takot silang maiwan, which makes them anxious. Because of this, nahihirapan silang gumawa ng decision nila para sa sarili nila, and they feel uneasy when they don't have the support from others. So, the DSM-3 describes dependent personality disorder as a condition where some people rely heavily on others for support and decision-making. Research has shown na ang mga batang naka-experience ng trauma and family history can contribute to this reliance. Understanding these factors help us see how the disorder affects relationship and daily life, often making individuals feel anxious and unable to function independently. Okay, so number 1 is experiencing abuse. Yung mga taong naka-experience ng abusive relationship, whether emotional or physical, are more likely to develop DPD. The fear and reliance on others for safety can create this dependency. Number 2 is childhood trauma. Yung mga batang naka-experience ng abuse or neglect, including emotional harm, can develop dependent personality disorder. Also, yung mga batang may serious health problems then during childhood nila may also become more dependent on others for support. Number three is genetics. If meron isang member sa isang pamilya with TPD or other anxiety disorders, they might be at a higher risk na magkaroon ng dependent personality disorder. So this suggests that genes can play a role. Last is cultural and family influences. Yung ibang tao ay lumaki sa isang cultures or families that emphasize the importance on relying on authority figures. Maaari itong mag-encourage ng dependency on others rather than fostering independence, which may cause TPD. Number one is struggling to decide. Nahihirapan silang gumawa ng kanilang choices without help from others. Naghahanap sila ng help from other people for guidance. Number two is being passive. They tend to go along with what others want. Agree lang sila ng agree sa gusto ng iba, which making it hard for them na ma-express yung opinion nila. Number three is avoiding conflict. Ayaw nila ng arguments at ayaw nilang ipagtanggol yung sarili nila, which may lead them feeling unhappy but not speaking about it. Number four is letting others handle things. They prefer to let others take charge of their personal affairs. Halimbawa is pagmamanage ng finances or paggawa ng plan, which can make them feel safe but also dependent. Number five is extreme fear of being alone. So pag iniwan sila ng taong mahal nila, they feel very sad at parang nawawala sila sa sarili. Breakup and separation from a romantic relationship might be so hard for them to. Okay, so number six is doing anything to please others. Okay lang na i-tolerate nila yung bad behavior or yung gawain ng friends nila or partner nila just to keep them or para di sila iwan, which may also causes unhealthy relationship. Kumbaga, they are a people pleaser. Number seven is nahihirapan silang gumawa ng projects or gumawa ng bagay na sila lang kasi natatakot silang magkamali. Ang first treatment ay talk therapy. So it is the main way to treat personality disorders like dependent personality disorder or TPD. So ang goal nitong therapy na ito is to help people na maintindihan yung takot, nararamdaman, at para ma-improve yung relationship nila with others. Okay, so next therapy is CBT. So it is a structured type of therapy na nakafocus kung paano nakakaapekto ang pag-iisip sa nararamdaman at ating mga gawain. Nakakatulong ito na ma-recognize yung mga negative thoughts at ma-replace into healthier ones. So David Beckham is a famous former soccer player known for playing with teams like Manchester United and Real Madrid as well as the England national team. Although siya ay isang successful soccer player and he has had a very successful career, always siyang nagsisik ng validation or he often seeks approval from fans and the media. His relationship with his family and friends are very important to him, which is nagpapakita na he rely on others to feel good about himself. So Bobby Fischer was an American chess champion famous for his incredible skill in the game. However, marami siyang personal problems. Nagre-rely siya on a few close relationships and was deeply affected sa kung anong iniisip ng ibang tao sa kanya. Fischer struggled with feelings of paranoia and found it hard to connect with people, which show how much he depends on others to feel secure in his identity as a chess player. Peter Green is a British musician known for founding the band Fleetwood Mac. He faced many mental health challenges including depression and anxiety. Kailangan niya palagi ng help from his friends and fellow musicians to cope with these issues. His dependency on others was clear in both his personal life and career, which is nagpapakita that he relied on support from those around him to get through tough times. Yung mga taong may obsessive-compulsive personality disorder ay nagfo-focus on doing things the right way. Gusto nilang tama palagi yung mga ginagawa nila. While itong dedication nila can be admirable, yung intense na detail to everything na ginagawa nila makes them harder to finish task. Kasi sa sobrang gusto nilang perfect yung ginagawa nila, nahihirapan tuloy silang tapusin yun. Noong 1908, Sigmund Freud described a personality type called anal retentive character. This type of person ay nakafocus on being organized and napakaingat nila sa pera. They tend to be rigid and stubborn, which is the reason bakit sila nahihirapang mag-adapt to new situation or change. Ang personality disorder like obsessive-compulsive personality disorder ay walang clear cause. Instead, may mga ilang several factors na nagpapataas ng chances of someone developing it or magkaroon ng OCPD. If a relative like a parent or sibling ay may personality disorders, anxiety, or depression, may higher chance na magkaroon ng OCPD. This is because certain traits or tendencies can be passed down through genes. Growing up in an environment na kung saan itong mga problem na to are common can also influence how you think and feel. So having family members with this condition can increase your risk of developing similar challenges. Number 2 is childhood trauma. When kids go through trauma, they might start to believe na kailangan nilang maging perfect para maging safe or to avoid getting hurt again. So this need for perfection ay maaaring madala nila hanggang pagtanda or hanggang adulthood, making it hard for them to relax or makatanggap ng pagkakamali. It can lead to a lot of pressure na dapat always tama yung ginagawa nila. Number 3 is if may existing mental health condition ka na like anxiety disorder. May malaking chance na makadevelop ka na a personality disorder like obsessive-compulsive personality disorder or OCPD. This is because having anxiety can make you more focused on controlling things and being perfect. So these traits can make it easier for OCPD to develop. So as you might start to feel like na kailangan mong maging strict sa sarili mo to feel secure. Number 1 is preoccupation with details. So people with OCPD pay a lot of attention sa mga small details, rules, and gusto nilang palaging organize ang mga bagay-bagay. Number 2 is perfectionism. Nagsiset sila ng high standard for themselves. That's why nahihirapan silang tapusin ang mga task nila kasi iniisip nilang nothing is ever good enough. Number 3 is they tend to work too much at nahihirapan silang mag-relax at mag-take ng break. Number 4 is nagda-doubt sila sa own decisions nila and find it hard to make choices. Number 5 is maingat talaga sila and they try hard para maiwasang magkamali. This can make them hesitant to take risks. Last is they hold on tightly to their beliefs and ways of doing things. They can be resistant na magbago and may not easily accept new ideas. Itong first treatment na to ay nakakatulong para mas maintindihan nila yung emotional pain na nararamdaman nila. It encourages them na isipin yung feelings in yung relationship nila para mas makilala pa nila ang sarili nila. Next treatment is CBT. CBT is a clear and straightforward type of therapy. A therapist helps people na examine yung thoughts and feelings and makita kung paano ito nakakaapekto sa actions nila. Through CBT, people with OCPD can change negative thoughts and behaviors and learn healthier ways to think and behave. Okay, so Charles Darwin was very careful and organized in his work. Nagpa-follow siya ng strict routines every day which is nakakatulong sa kanyang research. He took his time to gather information and made sure everything was done in an orderly way. So, this attention to detail was important for him because nakakatulong ito sa kanya to get accurate results and develop his ideas about evolution. Steve Jobs had very high standards for the products he created. Gusto niyang perfect lahat ng mga ginagawa niya, which made him very demanding of himself and his team. He paid close attention sa lahat ng detail from the design to the user experience. So, this drive for perfection often pushed his team to work hard and be innovative. So, while some people found him difficult to work dahil sa kanyang strict expectation, his focus on quality helped create a successful products like the iPhone and MacBook. So his insistence on excellence play a big part in making Apple a leading technology company. Next is James Cameron. So James Cameron ay kilala for planning every detail of his films very carefully. Nagpa-pay siya ng attention sa lahat ng from the script to the special effects to ensure that everything is perfect. So this meticulous planning shows his need for control and a desire for high quality in his work. So by being so thorough, nakagawa siya ng isa sa mga pinaka-successful na movie like Titanic and Avatar. So his focus on details helps him achieve his vision and make films that audiences love.